Chapter 6 Query Parameter. So in this chapter we are going to see what is query parameter and how to use a query parameter with the help of the Karate framework. So let me start this chapter. So we are here in the Postman and we are having a get call. So let's go and invoke this. So let's click on this send and it is going to get the result as well. So now we can see we have the different results of the users with the different fields as well. We have the IDs, names, email address and the gender and the status. So this is the result which we are getting it. So when we talk about a query parameter, the query parameter we use or we utilize to filter out the results as well. Take an example of we have at this point of time we have these number of results, and if you want to filter out the number of results from this result at that point of time, we are going to use a query parameter. Take an example of we are going to say we want to show or we want to get the result which is having id is equal to 6914470. So whenever you are going to mention the query parameter, we are going to use a question mark and then we need to provide the field name is equal to what value you want to verify it. Take an example of we want to say we want to get the user ID or we want to get the user who is having this ID as well. So let's click on send and it is going to get the result. Now we can see we are only getting this result which is having this ID which we have mentioned it here. So with the help of this query parameter we can filter out the results as well. If you want to add a multiple query parameters, you can also add it. The main purpose of adding a query parameter, multiple parameters, it means we want to filter out the result based upon a few more conditions. So take an example of we are having this gender. So let's add a gender here. We are saying this is a question mark and then we are going to have a gender. What gender information we want to get it? We want to get the information for the male as well. In case if you want to apply a second query parameter, we are saying we want to display the records who is having gender is equal to male and a status we want to make sure that it should be active as well. So here we have added a two query parameters. One gender is equal to male, another state is equal to active as well. So we are going to use a AND condition. It means we want both the conditions to be true. So let's click on send and it is going to display the results as well. Now we can see it is displaying all the results. Those are having gender is equal to male and the status is equal to active as well. So the similar thing we can achieve it with the help of the Karate framework. So this is the project which we have created in the previous sessions. So whenever we want to create a new feature file related to Karate, we can go right click the folder, new, we can say Karate feature, and here we can provide the name as well, which is this parameter, and here is the request as well. Now we are going to have the feature file as well. We can say test the parameters and we can provide the name of the parameters of the scenario as well. Test param is a scenario name. Now what we are going to do is we are going to copy these steps inside this get request.feature file. Let's commit here and we can add those steps as well. So these steps help us to invoke this get call. Whenever you want to add a query parameter, Karate framework has provided a keyword which is this a param keyword. Then what we need to do is we need to use a field which is this gender, which we want to filter out what we want to have it. We want to have the records those are having gender is equal to male. We want to filter out the records as well. Let's go and print the record as well. We are going to use a print keyword and the response as well. Now we are going to invoke this scenario. So whenever we want to invoke the scenario, we can commit here inside this runner file, and here we need to provide the feature file name, and at this moment the feature file name is parameter request.feature. So right click, say run, and it is going to invoke the scenario which is present inside this parameter request.feature file, and it is also going to filter out the records as well. So we can see we are getting this is the endpoint, and at the end we can see we have the question mark gender is equal to male. So this is going to filter out the records as well. So when we commit at the bottom, we have this is the report which we are getting it from the Karate side, and when we click on this parameter request or feature file, click on this print response, we can see we are getting the records those are having male instead of only having the female as well. In case if you want to add two parameters, then what we are going to use, we are going to use a same one which is this param keyword. What value you want to have it, we are saying we are going to status is equal to active as well. So now we are going to invoke it, right click, say run, and this is going to add a two query parameter. So this statement helps us to filter out the records based upon gender is equal to male and status is equal to active as well. So we can see we have this gender is equal to male ampersand status is equal to active as well. So let's scroll it down. We have this report, so we can comment directly here. Let's refresh this. Let's click on this print response. We can see we have the male is equal to active as well. So in this way we can add the multiple parameters. If you want to add a more parameter, then this is not a good approach where we are adding all the parameters in a separate steps. What we are going to do is Karate has provided another keyword to us, which is this a params keyword. If you want to add a multiple values, then we are going to use a params keyword and take an example of we are saying gender. What is the value we are going to add it? We are going to add the value as a male. So let's have this. We are going to say male, and then if you want to have a status as well, if you want to add multiple parameters, then we are going to use a comma and we are going to provide the value as well. So we have used this params keyword, and inside this we are providing the value as a JSON object. Whenever you want to separate the two fields, so this is the key and this is the value, and whenever you want to separate two parameters, then we are going to use a question mark. So let's do one thing. Let's comment out these lines and we are going to invoke it. Right click, say run, and it is going to invoke these particular request parameters or request scenario by passing gender is equal to male and status is equal to active as well. Now we are getting the same result as we guys were getting it previously. We have this gender is equal to male and status is equal to active as well. So if you want to add a single parameter, then params is a keyword provided by the Karate to us. We are going to provide the key and the value, and if you want to add a multiple parameters, then we are going to use a params as a keyword, and then we need to provide the values in a JSON object. Here is the key and here is the value. So if you want to separate the two values, then we are going to use a comma as well. So that's it in this chapter.